Hello yogis, welcome to the practice today. Today's peak pose is splits. So the entire sequence or the entire yoga practice today is focusing on working on our hip flexors, on our hamstrings, stretching our quad muscles, building up strength in our legs, working on strengthening of our lower abdominal muscles, building up strength in our pelvic floor region, in our inner thighs. Splits is considered as an advanced asana. It does require a lot of flexibility, and flexibility is not something that you will achieve overnight. It needs to be consistently worked towards, and it's also important to build your strength along with building your flexibility. So I would highly recommend doing some weight training and lunges and other strength building exercises for your legs and for your core if you're aiming to achieve full splits or Hanumanasana. Even if that is not something you're intending to achieve, it's always great to work on opening up of your hip flexors and on your hamstrings, and working on your quad muscles and opening up of your hips and working on your pelvic region. Use modifications whenever necessary. I will cue other alternative asanas whenever that is possible. But if something seems not right in your body, then don't push yourself towards that. Go with your body and how you feel today. It will be helpful if you have 2 blocks or 2 heavy books. If you cannot get all the way down in your splits, you can use that to support yourself or to gain some height. As always, listen to your body and how you are feeling today. Make this practice your own. If you need to pause, then please do pause. If you need to take a child's pose, take a breather, do so. Whenever you are ready, let's meet on the mat. We'll begin our practice today in reclined butterfly, but instead of being on our backs, we'll come on our bellies. So come all the way down on your belly and bring the soles of your feet together. And you can stack your palms and rest your forehead on your palms. And we'll stay here for a couple of deep breaths. It's okay if your pelvic floor doesn't come all the way down onto the mat, but make sure or be mindful about pulling up on your core muscles. So engage your lower belly here and try to work towards keeping your soles touching at all times, and work towards bringing your pelvic floor towards the mat. So every exhale, try and bring your pelvic floor closer to the mat. If you are on a really hard surface and if you feel like you need cushioning under your knees, you can use folded up towels or you can use small pillow or something. Take deep breaths here. And also be mindful about not shrugging your shoulders into your ears. Every exhale, try and bring your pelvic floor slightly closer to the mat. Tuck your tailbone, or at least work towards tucking your tailbone, and engage your lower abs. You should feel a really nice stretch in your inner thighs. Now next breath, bring your ankles to line up with your knees. You can come on your forearms and slowly slide your hips back, so your hips and knees are in line with each other and your ankles are in line with your knees. Coming into a frog stretch, you can have your hands all the way stretched out and you can rest on one of your cheeks, or you can stack your palms and you can rest your forehead on your palms, on the back of your palms. And we'll stay here in frog stretch for a couple of breaths. Work towards engaging your lower abdominal muscles. every exhale, try and bring your pelvic floor closer to the mat. If this feels too much, you can stay in that reclined butterfly pose. Couple of breaths here. Be mindful about not shrugging your shoulders all the way up. Relax your shoulders. Breathe into all the tight spots. 2 more breaths. Next breath, slowly bring your knees together and come up on all fours. Palms are directly underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. And we'll take a few rounds of cat and cows here. Inhale, drop your belly, chest opens up. Exhale, tuck your tailbone and round your back. Your shoulder blades are moving away from each other, pushing into the floor. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest. Exhale, cat. Shoulder blades are moving away from each other. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. 2 more. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, round your back and shoulder blades move away from each other. Inhale, cow stretch. Exhale, cat. Next breath, come back to your neutral spine. Engage your core. Extend your right leg all the way out. Bring your right toes to touch on the outside of your left hip. And exhale, draw a big rainbow pointing your toes, and your right big toe will come and touch on the outside of your right hip. Exhale, a big rainbow and toes touch on the outside of your left hip. We'll do that 4 more times. Every exhale, you're drawing a big rainbow with your toes. Keep your foot pointed. Exhale on the right side. Every breath, try to make your rainbow slightly bigger. One last time. Come back to neutral spine and bring your knees back into all fours. And we'll do that on the other side. Extend your left leg. Bring your left toes to touch on the outside of your right hip. Take a deep breath here and exhale, draw a big rainbow pointing your foot and your toes land on the outside of your left hip. Exhale. So every exhale, you are drawing a big rainbow with your toes. Come back to your neutral spine and come back to all fours. Check your stance. Make sure that your palms are directly underneath your shoulders and your knees are directly underneath your hips. Next breath, lift your right leg. Right heel is pressing up towards the ceiling. Now imagine that you're trying to touch the ceiling with your heels. We'll take a couple of pulses here. So every exhale, pulse your left leg up. Engage your core and you should feel heat building up in your glutes. Try to imagine that you're trying to push something up towards the ceiling with your right heel. You should feel this along your right hamstrings. 2 more. Next breath, bring your right knee into your chest, plant your right foot in between your palm, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee off the mat, bring your arms alongside your ears, coming up into crescent lunge. We'll bend our left knee, and as we bend our left knee, we'll open our chest to the sky by bending at our elbows and cactusing our arms. We'll take 5 rounds of those. So bend your left knee and open your chest towards the sky, bending at your elbows. 1, 2. Every exhale, you open your chest to the sky and bend your knee. Your right glutes should be on fire by now. Next breath, open up into warrior 2. Make sure that your right heel is in line with your back arch. Sink into your hips. Work towards bringing your right thigh parallel to the mat. 1 breath here in warrior 2. Engage your core. Sink your hips down. Flip your right palm and reverse your warrior. You can bring your left hand behind your back to touch your right thigh. 1 breath. Cartwheel your arms and open up into your side angle. You can have your right hands resting on your right thigh. Bring your top arm to line with your ear and slowly start extending your right leg, coming into triangle. Pull up on your kneecaps on both your legs. Engage your core and feel a nice stretch from the outside of your left foot to your left fingertips. Reverse your triangle. Bring your arms out into a T. Bring your palms to your chest. Pivot your left foot towards the corner of the mat. Flex your right foot. Sink your hips and come all the way down into your Skandasana on the left side. Every exhale, sink slightly deeper into your hips and make sure that your right foot is flexed. You should feel the stretch along your right hamstrings and right inner thigh. Release and come back into warrior 2. Cartwheel your arms all the way around. Step back into your plank pose and flow through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Coming all the way back, downward facing dog. 1 breath here in downward dog. Bring your knees down onto the mat, coming back into your all fours. Bend your left leg and we'll take those heel pulses on the other side. So imagining that you're pressing something towards the ceiling with your left heel. Every exhale, try to lift your leg slightly higher than the previous time. You should feel the heat building up in your left glutes and you should feel it in your left hamstrings. 2 more. Bring your left knee into your chest. Place your left foot in between your palms. Lift your right knee off the mat. Tuck your back toes. Come up into your crescent lunge. And we'll take those knee dips here. Bring your right knee to touch the mat. Cactus your arms and open your chest to the sky. We'll take 4 more of those. Exhale, opening the chest to the sky. Bend your knees. Inhale, come back, crescent lunge. 3 more at your own pace. I don't know how much I lost count here. Let's take 1 more and open up into warrior 2. Make sure that your feet are in proper alignment. Flip your front palm and reverse your warrior. You can bring your right hand around your back for a deeper stretch, transition into your side angle. One breath, bring your top arm in line with your ear and hold your side angle for a breath. Slowly extend your front leg, transitioning into your triangle pose. Open up, reverse your triangle. Bring your arms out into a T and palms come to your chest. Pivot your right foot towards the corner of your mat. Flex your left foot, sink your hips all the way down, coming into your Skandasana. Every exhale, try to sink a little closer to the mat and make sure that your left foot is flexed and your toes are pointing towards the ceiling. Deep breath. Come back to your warrior 2. Cartwheel your arms, frame your front foot, step back into your plank pose and flow through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog, coming all the way back, downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here in downward dog, or you can come down and rest in your child's pose. We'll all meet back in our downward facing dog. Next breath, lift your right leg up, coming into a three-legged dog. Bring your right knee into your chest. Place your right foot in between your palms, coming into low lunge. Sink your hips down. You should feel a nice opening in your left hip flexor and quad muscle. And take a breath here. Transitioning into pyramid. Bring your back foot a step closer and back foot is at an angle. And make sure that your feet are on parallel tracks. Adjust your stance, halfway lift, and your hips are facing the front edge of the mat and fold forward onto your right leg, coming into a pyramid. Hinge from your hips. Every exhale, try and bring your chest slightly closer to your front leg. Weight is equally distributed on both your legs. We'll move through that low lunge and pyramid a couple of times. So next breath, bring your palms onto the mat, take a step back, coming back into your low lunge, and exhale. Plant your back foot a step closer and fold into your pyramid pose. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, step your back foot a little closer and fold into your pyramid pose. One more time. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, step into your pyramid, and we'll hold here in pyramid. Next breath, lift halfway up. Bring your right palm in front of your left foot and take a twist in your pyramid. Squeeze your inner thighs here. The more you squeeze your inner thighs and engage your core, the deeper you can go in your twist. Open your chest to the right side of the mat. Bring your right palm back onto the mat. Step back into your low lunge. Come all the way up into your crescent lunge. Square your hips towards the front edge of the mat. Bring your palms to your chest. Take a deep breath here and exhale. Launch yourself to warrior 3. Slowly release your back foot onto the mat. Come back into your crescent lunge. Frame your front foot. Step your right foot to meet your left. Coming into your plank pose. Flow through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Coming all the way back. Downward facing dog. From your downward dog, lift your left leg up, coming into a three-legged dog. Bring your left knee into your chest. Place your left foot in between your palms, coming into your low lunge. Sink your hips down. Work towards bringing your left thigh parallel to the mat. You should feel a nice stretch in your right hip flexor and the front of your right leg. We'll take a step closer with our back foot and adjust our stance so both our feet are on parallel tracks. Square our hips towards the front edge of the mat and fold forward, coming into a pyramid pose. Every exhale, try to bring your chest closer to your front leg. Inhale, lengthen. And we'll flow through that low lunge and pyramid a couple of times. Step back into your low lunge. Exhale, step up, fold forward, coming into your pyramid pose. Inhale, step back into your low lunge. Exhale, fold over your left leg, pyramid pose. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, low lunge. One last time, coming into your pyramid pose and hold your pyramid for a breath. Halfway lift. Bring your right palm in front of your left foot and open your chest towards the left long side of the mat. Left hand extends all the way up, taking a twist in the pyramid. Engage your inner thighs. Core is active. Frame your front foot. Step back into your low lunge. Bring your hands alongside your ears, coming into your crescent lunge. One breath here in your crescent. Bring your palms into your chest. Exhale, launch yourself into warrior 3. Step your back foot back on the mat. Come back into your crescent lunge. Frame your front foot. Step back into your plank pose. Flow through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Coming all the way back, downward facing dog. Next breath, lift your right leg up, coming into a three-legged dog. Bend your right knee and place it on the outside of your right palm, coming into a lizard lunge. Stay up on your palms and have your back knee up, or you can bring your left knee down onto the mat, untuck your toes and stay here. Or if you want to give it a go, you can come all the way down on your forearms. Many options here. Pick the one that suits you best today. Stay here. Or if you are in a playful mood, want to try and play with binding in your lizard lunge, you can bring your right hand underneath your leg, wrap your left hand behind your back and bind in your lizard. This is completely optional, you don't have to do this. Come back into your lizard lunge. Bring left knee down onto the mat. We'll untuck our back toes. Come onto the knife edge side of your right foot. Open your right knee and sink into your left hip. You should feel a deep stretch in your left hip flexor and your left quad. Try and keep your back leg active and slowly open your right knee. Make sure that your right knee and your right second toe are in line with each other. Bend your back knee, grab hold on the outside of your left leg and sink deeper into your stretch. This is again completely optional. You can slowly start bringing your left foot closer to your butt cheek to feel a deeper stretch in your left quad. Slowly release. We'll transition into pigeon pose from here. Bring your right shin on the mat. Ideally, you need to have your right shin parallel to the front edge of the mat, but that completely depends on your anatomy, so don't stress too much on that. Just make sure that your right foot is flexed so you're not hurting your knee. You can either stay up here or you can slowly start bringing your chest closer to the mat. You can use a block here and rest your forehead on the block. Make this an active pigeon pose and keep your back leg engaged. Work towards bringing your left hip down and shoulders are moving away from your ears. Come all the way up. Swing your back leg all the way around. Your left foot comes on the outside of your right thigh and scoot your right foot towards your left hip. Bring your left foot closer to your right hip. Lengthen your spine. Wrap your right hand around your left leg and open your chest towards the left side of the mat, coming into a twist. This should feel really good after all that work on your hips and inner thighs. Release from your twist and we'll come back into our plank pose and flow through our chaturanga. Upward facing dog, coming all the way back, downward facing dog. We'll take that sequence on the other side. Lift your left leg up, coming into a three-legged dog. Place your left knee on the outside of your left palm. Take the same variation that you took on the other side, and if you did try to play around with taking a bind in your lizard lunge, try and see if you can achieve your bind here on this side. I don't know if I have that much strength left in me today. Release from your bind if you did take a bind and stay in your lizard lunge. You can bring your forearms down onto the mat. Next breath, come on the knife edge side of your left foot. Open your left knee. Keep your back leg active and sink down. So you should feel this amazing stretch in your right hip flexor and right quad. If you want to take this even deeper, you can bend your back knee, grab hold of the back foot with your left hand and sink down on your right hip. Release your foot down onto the mat. So bring your left shin down onto the mat. Make sure that you have flexed your left foot. You can either sit all the way up or you can fold forward. Work towards bringing your right hip towards the mat. Exhale. Try to get deeper in your stretch. Come all the way up. From your pigeon pose, swing your back leg around. So your right foot comes on the outside of your left thigh and scoot your left foot to come alongside your right hip. Make sure that both your sit bones are on the mat. Lengthen your spine and wrap your left hand around your right knee and open your chest towards the right side of the mat, taking a twist. Breathe into your belly here. Release from your twist, come back into your plank pose and flow through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog, coming all the way back, downward facing dog. Look towards the front of the mat, bend your knees and step or hop towards your hands, halfway lift and take a forward fold. Come all the way up into your Tadasana. Bring your palms to your chest. Step your leg back, coming into a crescent lunge. Bring your knee down onto the mat. Untuck your toes. Shift your hips back and straightening your right leg. Flex your right foot so your toes are pointing towards the sky. And hinge from your hips. Bring your chest closer to your right leg, coming into half splits. Take a couple of deep breaths in your half splits. Make sure that you're flexing your right foot. You can either stay here in your half splits, or if you want to try to play with your full splits, have your blocks handy here, and from your half splits slowly start extending both your legs and bring your hips closer to the mat. Come down only as far as you can get down today. If you're all the way up here, it's still okay. You can place a block underneath your front thigh to help you gain some height and stay here. Come all the way down into your full splits. Or you can have your blocks on either side and rest your hands on them to help you give some support. And while you're in your full splits, engage your inner thighs and work towards squaring your hips towards the front edge of the mat. So be mindful about bringing your left hip forward. We'll take a couple of breaths here. Pull up on your kneecaps on your legs so your legs are active here. And stay with your half splits if you feel any kind of pinching in your lower back or any kind of pain. This should not be painful. You will definitely feel a lot of stretching in your hamstrings, but it should not be painful. And when you're ready to come out of your splits, slowly lift your hips up and pull your leg all the way back. Move your blocks if you did use them, and sit back and enjoy the stretch. When we'll take that on the other side. Bring your left leg forward and your hips are directly in line with your right knee, and fold forward into your half splits. You can either stay here in half splits, or if you want to play and try coming into full splits, slowly start extending both your legs and bring your hips down closer to the mat. Come as far as you can naturally, and then if you are still off the mat, you can use your blocks to bring the earth to you to gain some height. Work towards squaring your hips towards the front edge of the mat. You can have your hands at your chest, or you can bring your palms next to your hips. Engage your inner thighs. Both legs are active. Flex your foot. Whenever you are ready to come out of it, slowly pull your front leg all the way back. Coming back through your half splits and release. We'll do that full splits once more on both sides, or you can try with your half splits. Just stay with your half splits, whatever suits you today, or you can just skip the whole thing and end the practice, or take a back bend. Play with coming all the way down in your splits. You can use blocks to rest your hands on that to get you some height on either side, or you can come all the way down. Whenever you're ready to come out, slowly shift your hip back, hips back, and get your leg back. And on the other side. Extend, come into your half splits on the left side and slowly extend your leg. Oh, my hips are very, very tight on this side. I need a block. Breathe while you're in your splits. Breathe into all those tight spots and slowly ease it into the stretch. This should feel extremely good. Slowly shift your hips back and come all the way out of your splits. Move your block out. And we'll come all the way down onto the mat. Then take a back bend. My body is feeling like a back bend, so I'm gonna do that. You can swap the wheel pose. You can take a camel, or you can just come all the way down and bring your knees into your chest and rest here. If you are planning to take a wheel pose, bring your heels hip distance apart and the weight will come on your heels. Lift your hips up, coming into a bridge pose. You can stay here, or you can bring your palms alongside your ears. Push up into your wheel pose. Breathe into your belly and push the ground down with your palms. Slowly come all the way down. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. This should feel really good. Take some deep belly breaths. We'll end our practice here today in Shavasana. Have your knees bent or extend your legs all the way out. Close your eyes. That was a fierce practice. I hope you enjoyed it. Close your eyes. Relax your face, relax your jaw. Come back to your normal breath and enjoy your Shavasana for as long as you want. That was a fierce practice, and I hope you enjoyed it. I had so much fun guiding you through this practice. And as I said, full splits is an advanced asana, so don't get flustered if you cannot achieve it as quickly as other asanas. Keep at it and come back to this practice over and over again. The overall practice in itself is great for stretching of your hip flexors and opening your quad muscles and opening your hamstrings. Come back to this practice and eventually you will be able to get into Hanumanasana. And also with flexibility, very important to have strength practice. So do try and incorporate some amount of strength practice in your daily routine. That will be very helpful for muscle health and building that strength and flexibility, because they go hand in hand. I hope you have a beautiful day ahead, and I'll see you on the mat next week. And please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much.